Hello everyone, Wise Guy here, and this is now episode 4 of the Logistic Pipe tutorial. This is going to be covering modules part 2, and as promised we're going to go over the Extractor module, Advanced Extractor, and some of the other ones we weren't able to cover yet. So guys, just bear with me while I set things up, and we'll get started. Alright guys, I think we're all set up for our demonstration here. So basically, I think at the end of the last video I pulled these out, I put them back, I put a provider module, leave one item per stack, polymorphic item sync. I have cobble here, and I put an electric furnace from Industrial Craft. It's being powered from a different system that I already set up before. And basically, electric furnaces, it has power. You put something in the top, like let's say a piece of cobble, and you get something out the side. You can see that get cooked up, and it cooks faster than a regular furnace. This is Industrial Craft. I might do a spotlight on it sometime. Most people know what it is now, though. So you get smooth stone for that, obviously, when you cook it up. Now, before we had this setup here with the furnace, we need to have a satellite pipe underneath with an ID supplying coal to get our stone output. Now, we were using a crafting pipe for that, but instead we can do something like this. I put an item sync module with our favorite cobblestone piece here. And it has one more spot, and what do you think I'm going to put there, guys? This is going to be a one-pipe solution for our issues. Extractor module. Now an extractor module, just like the name says, is going to pull items out or extract items from something. This is similar to a wooden pipe from Buildcraft. You take 4 pieces of blue dye, or 2 pieces of blue dye, depending on the chipset or the gear recipe, 3 redstone, blank module, and iron chipset or iron gear. That's going to give you 1 extractor module. When you put that here, you get to actually use this little configuration option, and you can say what side you want to extract from. Now these actually correspond to the sides on the interface here. So we have top, bottom, and side. There's also the default setting, which I don't know what the default is. I think it will be basically, if it's on the top, it'll pull from the top. But we can set this to the side. So what that's going to say is item sync is going to call cobblestone, put it here, and it's going to pull from the side. So guys, let's see if we have some cobblestone. We have some cobblestone here. Let's throw some in the network by pulling these out and putting it on our ender chest. Now you're going to see cobblestone go right to that item sync. And look at that, the extra piece of cobblestone filtered out, back to our default route like we expected. When the smooth stone finished, it shot out and went to our default route. And more cobblestone is being called right now because the quick sort says, I have room in this inventory, I can send at least 1 more piece, so it sends a whole stack. It fills it up when it can, and the extractor is pulling the smooth stone out every so often. It does take a little bit to tick, but it does a check every so often. We'll pull that out. It can pull out stacks at a time if there's multiple items there. So if you had something like an induction furnace, it would pull very fast. So that, guys, is how this setup works. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this cobble out so that it doesn't keep sending back and forth. Pull the smooth stone out. And I'll pull this out and that out. Pull this out. And just got to clean everything up here, guys. It'll just be 1 second. I think I got it all. Alright, that stopped that crazy process. Remind me to never do that again. So our extractor module, again, can be configured to be on whatever side we want. So all that means is that if I had a pipe, and I'll just use a chassis mark 2 on the side here, it does not need to be on the side that we would expect to extract from, like in Buildcraft. I can put it on the top, on the side, on the front face, on the back, underneath, wherever I like, and it will work just fine. Very, very cool. Thank you, Logistic Pipes. I can actually hide my wires without having to put everything on the side, and hide my pipes without having to put everything in the proper place that way. Very, very cool. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and move on from that to the Advanced Extractor, which is right here. Put it underneath, which makes sense. The Advanced Extractor is actually going to give you a very similar GUI as the Extractor. This is only for rare cases. The Advanced Extractor is an extractor module with a piece of redstone. Very, very cheap. And this configuration is a little bit different. So basically, you can say which items to extract, versus specific items that are in there. And I actually haven't used this too much myself. It would be for something like, let's say, a cart manager system from Steve Carts, or something where you have a chest full of items. You're pumping water into one item, I guess, or buckets of water into item, and then you have empty buckets that go to that chest. So we want to extract only empty buckets from this chest, and full buckets will stay there. The chest is being used for the same thing. So let me just kind of show you guys. We'll put buckets. Let's get some empty buckets, we'll put them in here. We'll put liquid water buckets, put them here. Let me grab that advanced extractor. That was this pipe, right? Okay. Let's get some more water buckets because they don't stack. Put those in there. Now basically this advanced extractor, instead of a provider, we can say, I want you to extract the empty bucket and put it into the system. Now it send it to the default route, but if I did have an item sync for something like, let's say, oh, I don't know, an aqueous accumulator from thermal expansion. And again, I use a lot of mods, guys. Or, you know, a certain area where I want my empty buckets to go so I can just pick them up and fill them up later. All I would have to do is just set up an advanced extractor with empty buckets. This could also be uncharged energy cells, or, you know, my equipment. I'm using quantum armor right now from from Industrial Craft 2. So like I want to charge these items up, so when they're depleted, I want the advanced extractor to pull only those items out and leave my full buckets of water in here. You can kind of see that's going back and forth, guys, because the quick sort is pulling them out and sending them back here, because we have a polymorphic item sync on there. The quick sort's going to pull the buckets right back here, and the extractor's pulling them right back out. So I just kind of created a loop. So apologize for that, guys. But basically, again, I haven't used this too much, but the advanced extractor can do something like this. Exclude this, so everything but empty buckets, include buckets, etc. The sneaky part only shows up when you're on a system like this that has an inventory. So sneaky allows you to do the top, side, and bottom again. So do side. And then you can say only pull smooth stone out of the side. That's kind of pointless because we only have smooth stone going in there with our item sync. So that kind of gives you an idea, and again, why I don't really use the advanced extractor too much. But it does have cases that are useful. So I think that's going to cover our extractors and our advanced extractor. And the next thing I want to talk about is our terminus module. Terminus, as it sounds, is terminate. This is where you're going to be sending your items to be terminated, basically. Let me go ahead and pause the video to break up. I'm going to check on the time, and then we'll go ahead and go into there. Alright guys, the terminus module. Now this is more than likely going to be used for a recycler from Industrial Craft 2. There are other uses for this too. I kind of get into that in my practical setup series that I'm going to be starting. But let's go ahead and save the recycler. And I am going to put a Mark 1 chassis pipe on top. I'm going to put my terminus on there. Get rid of that. And my terminus module. Now the terminus is like an item sync, but this has the lowest priority in the system. Basically, anything in this network that doesn't have a place to go will get terminated if I say to put it in here. So if I put a piece of cobble here, all cobble in the network that does not have a location to go will be terminated to my recycler, and I'm going to get scrap for it. Excuse me. So right now we have cobblestone that will be going into this chest, let's say. Let me get rid of these buckets for you. Let me put some cobblestone in there. I'll show you a quick setup of why I would use this. Actually, before you even do it that way, let's just say it this way. You're out mining, and we know that you're going to get a lot of cobblestone and dirt. So let's go ahead and put dirt and cobblestone on our terminus module. We don't use dirt and cobblestone that often, so when we have dirt and cobblestone in our network, it's going to say, I don't have anywhere to go. The quicksort will go ahead and terminate it to the recycler, and it'll start getting recycled right here. Now, it did put a stack of dirt. The cobblestone didn't have a place to go at the time, so it's going to get sent back. It might have had a glitch there, guys. Again, it is a pre-release. Should have got sent back there. Double check my chest in case it got deposited somewhere else for some reason. That might have just been a bug where I need to stop and replace. No, it didn't get sent anywhere else, so it looks like my cobblestone completely disappeared. It did not disappear because we have an item sink. So that's actually a good example, guys. I confused myself. I have an item sink with cobblestone on it, which took priority over terminating the cobblestone here. So let's get rid of dirt. Let me take out this dirt here. Now, cobblestone in the system will get sorted by an item sink first, and then it will go to the terminus if it doesn't have anywhere else to go, right? So let's go ahead and put some cobblestone back in my system here. Let me get some dirt back in there too. I hate having inventory with no dirt. So when we put cobblestone in here, guys, it gets sorted out by our quicksort module. It goes to the system, it drops what it can into the furnace, and then the rest went in here, and it drops what it can into the recycler. And as there's space, more gets sorted out, it drops what it can into the furnace. After there's a full stack, it recycles the rest. So guys, the terminus is again going to say, I have nowhere else to go, so let me put it here. Now basically I'm cooking smoothstone here, right? And I'm extracting my smoothstone afterwards with the extractor module that I took out. I don't have one on me, so it's fine, I'll just let that cook. Let's go ahead and take a piece of smooth stone out of there. And we'll put it in this chest with a polymorphic item sink on it. Now check out what happens when we put cobble in here too. Now cobblestone will come out of the sort chest, into the item sink for the furnace to fill up a stack, into here to fill up a stack only after this chest is completely full with cobblestone. So let's get a bunch of cobblestone in here and we'll see this work. So let me just fill this thing up real quick, guys, and I apologize for the wait while I do this. Is there an easier way to do this? I don't think there is. Alrighty, so I decided to just go ahead and keep recording, guys. Just going to fill up this last little bit here. And there we go. Actually, let me take 2 of those out. So, now guys, when we put in our cobblestone, our system's going to say, put what it can into the furnace, put what it can into the chest. Oh, there's no more room in the chest, let me terminate the rest and put it in here. Oh, stack's full, let me try to put it in the chest. Can't do it, go to the default route. Get quick sorted, come into the furnace, fill up the stack that it can, fill up the recycler that it can, go back to my chest. Get quick sorted, because the chest is full, etc, etc, etc. So let's pull some of these out, and we'll see that the cobblestone will start coming back in here. There you go, there's all the extra cobblestone that's being put in here. Once this chest is full, again, it will start filling up the terminus module again because we are terminating all excess cobblestone. Now there are other practical setups as well, guys, that I'm not going to get into here at all. I'm just trying to cover the modules and what they do, and I hope the terminus module here with that setup does show you what you can do with this. Again, you might want to put dirt, flint, cobble, gravel, all on your terminus to go to a recycler for scrap. It's a great way to get your UU matter if you have advanced machines in the mass fabricator. It's a good way to just get rid of stuff in general. You get scrap boxes if you need to. Really just an overall good little module to kind of take care of all your excess. So I'm going to get rid of the cobblestone in that and my item sink so I don't have the same issue as I did in the last segment. And I'm going to talk about our next module. Now let me clear up my inventory, guys, and we're going to get started on the passive supplier module. Alright guys, finally the last couple modules here. I cleared the rain yet again. It rains more in this flat world than ever before, I swear. So passive supplier module. Now passive supplier is going to be 4 red rows, your 3 redstone pieces, your blank module, and your iron gear, or 3 redstone, 2 red rows, and your iron chipset. Chipset is always a better option. Passive supplier is going to be, again, a passive request, just like its name says. So we have a supplier pipe, which is an active request. It says, I need to actively pull anything that I possibly can in this network to keep this chest filled with, let's say, cobble. 1 piece of cobble needs to be in this chest at all times. You'll notice that this is a provider pipe. It doesn't have anything in here but provider. And if we put pieces of cobble in here, it'll be able to provide into the supplier chest request to put 3 pieces of cobble in there, we'll say. This chest has extra cobble right now, so let's pull that out and we'll see this come. 3 pieces of cobble. Pull that out. 3 pieces of cobble will come out because that's being provided by that system. Now this isn't a quick sort like we set up over there. It's not actively being put into our network. This is actively requesting cobble. So this is taking a high priority saying, I don't care what you're at. You have cobble, I need it. I need to put 3 pieces in here. So I just pulled those out. It sent it over here. I just removed that so it's no longer actively requesting. Now the passive supplier module will do just the opposite of that. So let's say we have our provider module on here, and all cobble in the network is being sent to this network, as we said before. But I want to have passive supplier of a certain item. Let's say I always want 64 cobble in here. Now note, it's not actively pulling cobble out of this chest. I'll even remove this to show you guys. I can provide it just like the provider module, but it is not actively pulling it because it's a passive supplier module. It's not saying, oh, there's cobble in my network somewhere, let me pull it into this chest to fulfill that 64 cobble request. Instead, what it's doing is when I put cobble into my network, and again, this is going to go actively into my network only through the quick sort, then it will say, oh, there's cobble out here, let me go ahead and fill that passive supplier, put my cobble in here. Now if I put a polymorphic back in here, let's go ahead and see what happens. Let's pull my cobble out. And let me sort this chest for you. So note the last row is completely empty. Put 1 piece or 1 full stack in there. And let's see where this cobble goes. To the supplier pipe, not to the polymorphic item sink. Now let's go ahead and put 1 more stack. Now we'll see this get pulled out and go to the polymorphic item sink here. Now why is that? Because the passive supplier is at a higher priority on the network than a polymorphic item sink does. So it's going to fulfill this request before it fulfills the polymorphic because that's just more of a storage type thing. And that's kind of how that system works, guys. So we've covered all the basic modules that you're going to use. I know there was a lot of that we covered here, guys. So let me go ahead and see what we have left here, guys. We have an electric manager module and the B sync. So I'll finish up the B syncs, we'll wrap that up with our episode, and I'll talk about the electric manager module real quick in a new segment. Basically, these are going to work with forestry, your beekeeping again, B analyzer module, B sync module, apiary refiller, and drone terminus. These are equivalent to your basic modules here, your item sync, passive supplier, etc. B analyzer is going to send it just like a B analyzer pipe will. B sync will send certain bees just like an item sync to your modules or your apiaries, excuse me. The apiary refiller will do exactly that. Keep your apiary refilled with the items you specify. Drone terminus says all extra drones of this type will be terminated to this area. It doesn't have to be a recycler, but maybe you have a aviary that you want your drones to automatically terminate into. They'll automatically get sent here. So guys, I don't do beekeeping very much with forestry, so I can't show you these, but I'm sure if you have forestry, you can probably play with them some and figure out the setup. And maybe at a later date when I get into beekeeping, I will show those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and set up something for the electric manager module, guys, and I will be right back. Hopefully we can get this in one more episode, or the same episode. Alright guys, the last module I want to talk about, and it's relatively new, is the electric manager module. Now the crafting recipe in NEI is a little bit messed up. I do have to apologize, I don't remember how to make this item. I believe you can use a blank module and hit U on it to see the usage, or change your NEI settings to do usage and then left click, or right click on the default settings, I believe. And I think we can find the recipe here. Otherwise, you're going to have to cheat this one in, and again, I think it's a little bit buggy right now, which is the reason why it doesn't have a recipe. So yes, I'm correct, it doesn't have a recipe right now, it needs to be cheated in. But basically what this is going to do is manage your electronics. So I put a Mark V chassis just because I can, and I'm going to say request empty RE batteries, rechargeable batteries from Industrial Craft or Buildcraft, I forget, and I'm going to deposit them into my MFSU to be charged. Now the supplier is going to basically keep this stocked with RE batteries, and the manager can either request RE batteries to be discharged, as in I need to charge my MFSU by putting it down here and charge it up, or to be charged by putting it in the upper slot here. So I'm going to say discharge to no, which is going to extract fully charged RE batteries. Even though the image is a discharge one, it'll extract fully charged ones. I put a little red pipe signal thing here. That's not to worry about so much. This is going to be my sort chest. I have an item sync with default route yes. And I put a provider Mark II, and I'll tell you what that Mark II means on modules in just a second. And this is just a normal module. So all I'm saying is I can provide batteries. You'll see a battery get pulled out. The supplier pipe is actively requesting uncharged batteries one at a time. Once it gets charged, the electric manager module will pull that out and send it back to the default route or to wherever chest I want my full batteries to go. Okay, it's uncharged. Bam, pulls that out. Electric manager module will request another, the supplier will pull another one, the electric manager module pulls it out. So basically this is going to be used to pull out full batteries, guys. And this red pipe signal, all it's doing is just fixing my supplier. I'm just saying, basically, if the items being charged do not request more. I wasn't sure if the item IDs would get messed up on the RE batteries because of the, after the colon, based on the state of the battery, will be a different item ID. You can see that it decreasing here. So as a new one comes in, I'll go ahead and show you that, guys. Electric manager module pulls it out, new one comes in, and you can see this item ID on the right hand side, 13, 12, 10, 11, 9, 10, etc. As it charges up. I just wanted to be able to disable this pipe so it doesn't think that it's a whole other item it needs to call in here. So basically the electric manager module, again, is saying no to discharge, and it's pulling empty battery or full batteries out. If I put that to yes, discharge, what this is going to do now is it's pulling a battery to charge, and it's going to say batteries that are at the bottom here, go ahead and discharge it, as it's doing right here to charge, and the electric manager is going to pull the empty one out of the bottom. So as long as it still has charge, then the electric manager module will pull the empty one out. So I'll take just a second here, guys. And again, it looks like the electric manager module is a little bit buggy because it's not pulling this out. It should be doing that automatically. So let's go ahead and flip that back to no. Now it's pulling my full ones out. Let me put those in here. I think the electric manager module is reading off the top part right now, so that's probably the reason why it's messed up. So again, buggy, but it does work for simple setups. In the server that we use, I actually had it set up to auto charge my suit. I could dump into my sort chest, walk away, come back later, and all of my items would be there. But electric manager is buggy, which is why it does not have a recipe. It says you can make them by placing another electric manager module. No crafting recipe otherwise. So guys, that's going to wrap up all the modules here. I did say I'd talk about Mark II and etc. modules, so let me do that real quick. Modules. I apologize for this not being completely linear, guys. I'm kind of going back and forth. You have the extractor, polymorphic, etc. And then we have Mark II and III of certain ones. So basically provider and then provider Mark II. The difference in that is just the speed. Mark II will go faster. It will pull closer to a full stack at once, I guess, instead of half a stack. An extractor Mark II and Mark III again. We noticed when we were extracting on our setup over here on the furnace that it wasn't grabbing it right away. It had something here, and then every so often it would tick and pull that out. Mark II has a faster tick rate, and a Mark III just has a faster check rate than that. So basically a Mark III will instantly pull out whatever the item is here, and it can pull out a full stack at a time even. So if you have a full stack and you suddenly drop a Mark III, it'll pull the entire stack out at once, which is really, really nice. Pipes have these Mark I, II, and III, and IV. There's also the same thing for crafting pipes. So if we go ahead and look at the logistic pipes, we'll see the mark levels here. So we have crafting pipe logistic 1, but we also have our chassis pipes, and then crafting logistic pipe 2, request pipe 2, provider pipe 2, etc. And these again are just going to be faster at doing what they do. The crafting pipe can pull stacks at a time, I believe. You have a Mark III as well. We have the provider Mark II, which again just provides stacks at a time. the request logistic pipe Mark II just provides stack at a time as well. So that's kind of the idea. They go faster. There's not really a good explanation of what the breakdown is on what's faster and what's not, what does full stacks versus half stacks, etc. But it basically just increases the rate at which items will travel through your system and be crafted and provided, requested, etc. by increasing the mark level. Recipes for these vary, but to show a couple real quick, you take a basic request pipe and you add a diamond gear. Or for a crafting pipe, a gold gear, crafting pipe Mark III is a diamond chipset, and a nano hopper, which has to be done in a soldering station, 8 hoppers here. So you can kind of see they're a little bit more expensive to have that, faster setup basically. So request and provider are both a diamond gear, crafting's a gold gear, etc. So guys, if you have any questions at all about modules or chassis pipes, please let me know. I'm sorry so much for the length of this video. I know I rambled some and it wasn't as linear as I was hoping, but it's very difficult to try to explain these things without going too in depth. Almost every module could have a full 30-minute video, guys. So if you do have questions, please let me know. I'm going to start working on other videos as well to show practical setups now that you have a basic understanding, and that should give you an idea of what you need to know to get your stuff yourself up and running with logistic pipes. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for watching. If you do like it, please hit a like. If you have any feedback, constructive is perfect. Negative feedback's fine, but try to make it constructive. Let me know what I need to do, and I'll make this series as great as I can for you guys. If you have specific setups you want, let me know, and I'll be happy to make a tutorial on it. And with that, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. Have a great day, and subscribe if you can. Bye-bye.